Hello, you wonderful people of the internet. I am Justin. I am also known as the Cinemaverick. And today I'm going to be talking about the next film in my P.T.A. Ander-Thon. And that is actually a short film, a collection of alternate takes, deleted scenes, if you will, for the movie The Master. And the title of this collection of scenes is called Back Beyond, which is a term taken from the processing method in the film that the cause uses as a sort of means of psychotherapy. And really, this is a kind of like Blossoms and Blood, which was the B-roll for, or a collection of alternate takes for Punch Drunk Love. This is really very much in that vein, sort of poetic construction of these scenes together. And really, some of these scenes are kind of fascinating, I think, on their own, which is really appropriate for the movie that they come from, which I think really is more about these characters than it is about any kind of coherent plot, really, in terms of one thing leading to another. It really is based more around it is based more upon these characters. And I like that this is very much a collection of moments, I would say. There's some really interesting scenes I don't think would have necessarily added more to they certainly give you more of an appreciation for the film, I'd say. I don't know if a lot of them are essential necessarily to the film. I think he found other ways to express them. For example, there's a scene in which Freddie Quell is celebrating, the war is over, everything's great. He has this moment with a woman where he has this moment of clarity and says, like, "I love you," and then promptly falls asleep. Which I felt like Anderson covered that a little bit in terms of the earlier scenes in The Master, in which he meets the department store girl. Because I thought that was enough, I think, to show us how this is a man who is driven by his lustful needs, but at the same time, there is something about him that goes beyond that. There's something genuine about that, and certainly we again see that later on with Doris, with his childhood love. So, you have scenes like that. I think the other thing I was fascinated by in this movie, or in this short film, is there's a lot of emphasis on, we see a lot of scenes of music and dancing, and particularly focused on the Philip Seymour Hoffman character, Lancaster Dodd. And I really think, in some ways, I really do see this as sort of those scenes sort of like a catharsis for the Dodd character. I think it removes him from sort of his constant performance as an orator, as a leader of this cult, and I think he sees it as like a genuine, like, kind of relaxation and fun, and in some ways I love how he applauds, and as a way of like keeping up appearances, really to make moments last longer, and I think there's a lot of emphasis on applause in this film. I also want to bring up there's a talk of the book that Dodd wrote, The Split Saber, which is apparently so dangerous that it killed people. There's this lore around it, and we get this really interesting scene in which Joaquin Phoenix, who was tasked with protecting it almost like it's the Ark of the Covenant from Raiders of the Lost Ark. He opens it, and just like a pillar of flame erupts. I don't think that would have worked in the film itself. I feel like it's too fantastical. It might have worked better in a film like Punch Drunk Love, which has is not immune from flights of fantasy like that. But I still think it's interesting. I don't know if it's sort of meant to reflect Freddy's fear, like that's how he sees it, like he is superstitious, or if it's meant as a joke, maybe. But I really do, kind of like with Blossoms and Blood, I would recommend this to people who have seen the film. I don't know if there's like a real like narrative coherence to it, but there is something very poetic about it and easy to watch. And like Blossom's Blood, I think it does make you reflect upon the film that you saw, uh, as you see these characters sort of in similar situations. In similar situations to what we see in the film. So I really do think it is fascinating. Maybe not necessarily maybe not necessary, but still fascinating. So that is, and I guess it shows that even someone like Anderson could say, okay, maybe I should leave this out and just kind of have it as a curiosity for people who are fascinated just with these characters and with these lives, even if it doesn't fit into this character study that he's constructed. So that is a little bit of a short take, I guess you'd say, on Back Beyond. My next film, which I am planning to see very soon, is going to be Inherent Vice, which is my most anticipated film of, I guess last year now, of 2014, but was only really given a wide release in 2015. So that should be good. Anyway, thank you for listening, and yeah, my next one will be Inherent Vice. Take care.